afternoon. I'd like to call the Charles City County Board of Supervisors December 18th meeting to order. At this time, we'll have roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, Mr. Byron Atkins.
Here.
Vice Chairman, Mr. Ryan Patterson.
Present.
Board Member, Mr. Michael Hill.
Present.
Thank you. We'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Madam Clerk.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I ask for an adoption of the agenda with a closed session.
Gentlemen, you've heard for that adoption of the agenda with the closed section. Could I have a motion on that, please? To adopt the agenda.
Adoption of the agenda with the closed session.
Is that your motion, Mr. Patterson?
Hold on. Yeah, I think with the agenda, with the addition of the closed session
Yes.
before the additional items, I guess.
Mr. Chair, I motion that we adopt the agenda with the addition of the closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Your vote, Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Ms. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a motion to go into closed session for legal specific in closed session under Section 2.23711 of the Code of Virginia for the purpose of consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, which is authorized under Section 2.2-3711A8 of the Code.
You've heard the reading of the motion. Could I have a motion on that, please?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to go into closed session.
Is that your motion, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Your vote?
Aye.
Ms. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. We'll be in closed session, and when we come back, we'll reconvene to our regular meeting schedule. Thank you.
hope so. Hello.
Wants to re- I'm fired up. I'd like to have a motion to reconvene the open session, please.
Mr. Chair, I motion that we return from closed session. I make a motion as required under Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia that the Charles City County Board of Supervisors certify to the best of each board's members' knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening to close meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board.
That's your motion, Mr. Hill.
Yes, it is.
Your vote.
Aye.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Now we will have the approval of the deferred board meeting minutes from Tuesday, October 28th, 2025, and Tuesday, November 25th, 2025.
I think you have your minutes and stuff in there, and it's this time, need a motion for approval for the October 28th and the November 25th meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve both minutes.
And that's your motion, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Your vote, Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, that now brings us to our public comment period. Is there anyone who has not had the opportunity to sign up for the public comment period that would like to? The following people have signed up: Ms. Pat Davis, Ms. Brandy Moreno, Mr. Jared Klein, Ms. Thelma Whitehead, Ms. Martha Harris, Mrs. Doreen Billingsley, and Ms. Tracy Floyd.
Ma'am, excuse me, pull your mic down a little bit too, so we can hear you. It may not be turned on.
Okay, now it's on.
Thank you.
Okay. So I don't know if y'all all know, but back in 2017, Kimmage's Wharf Partners, who is Boyd and Hess, applied for a rezoning of two parcels on Route 106, parcels 784 and 794. And they wanted to have it rezoned from M1 to M2. There was a combined Planning Commission, Board of Supervisors meeting where the rezoning was approved. Was a public hearing held. Everything went through, except there was no ordinance drawn up after the vote. So essentially, the rezoning did not take place because Virginia law requires an ordinance to be drawn up to rezone. So moving forward to August of this past year, they reapplied to have it rezoned from M1 to M2. Everybody spoke against it at the public hearing. However, the Planning Commission decided to defer the vote because Gary Mitchell got up at the end of the meeting and said there was no proof that it was rezoned, but he would leave it up to the owners of the parcels to find proof. Well, I found proof that it was not rezoned. I did a FOIA request. There is no ordinance rezoning it. So that puts it back in the Planning Commission's lap to decide what they're going to do. And I hope they decide against the rezoning, listen to the constituents like they didn't do with Diode. So today, right now, there is a large amount of coal on that property, and I took a picture. Sorry, I was running out of toner, so I only printed one. And I talked to DEQ, and what they told me is that that is I don't know the word they use, but it's basically dirty coal. It's not contaminated. They took that down to Petersburg to be treated. But they're going to be straining that coal so that they can then transport it off-site to an asphalt plant, Titan Asphalt. And I believe it's in Ohio, but I'm not sure of that. But what I want to know is that screening, is that going to throw it into the M2 designation? And if so, it's going to be in violation of the M1 zoning. And I think you need to look into determining whether it's in violation of the zoning ordinance. Thank you.
Would you make sure you have a copy of the information given to our county administrator?
Which information?
That you just discussed? Okay.
Brandy Morano. So I find it interesting that, the comp plan is being redone for the county. And essentially, we were sold a bill of incorrect goods. So there was a survey that was conducted in September to November of 2024. That survey was supposed to be completed by citizens of the county via online platform. That was the only method offered because the county, quote unquote, could not afford to print the survey for people who didn't have internet access. Gary Mitchell stood up at several community meetings related to the comp plan and said there was anywhere from 1,100 participants to 1,500 participants in that survey, which would be about 10% of the county. Maybe a little more. My math is not great. I did not major in mathematics. So the interesting part of that is to have a good quality survey, you need a good participation base. And that much I do know, stats-wise. You need to have a decent number of participants. 1,100 to 1,500 sounds great. One problem. According to the Crater Planning District Commission, who created and basically counted up those participants, the final number from online participants was 124. Not 1,100, not 1,500, but 124. So how as a county can we accurately depict what our future, the next 20 years, would be with only 124 citizens participating in the survey? Maybe it's just me, but it sounds to me like that means that the survey was ineffective and therefore void. I think the comp plan needs to be delayed until it can actually be conducted in a manner that's appropriate and actually involves citizen involvement, not some fictitious made-up numbers. Thank you.
Jared Klein, just speaking as an individual today. I thought I would give you all an update on how the petition's going. Last month, I talked about adding a board supervisor, as well as changing the government structure from traditional to county board form. And since then, I think we had maybe 40 to 50 signatures as of last BOS meeting, and we are up to 633 signatures. Which is actually over 10% of the eligible voters within the county, which is the requirement to get this to a referendum. With that being said, though, we have some folks with sloppy penmanship, so I'm not alone in that boat, right? So we're going to probably look to get between 700 and 750 just to make sure that we hit that 10% number with the registrar's office. And we will be working with the registrar's office over the next month to confirm and then get this in front of the judge who's hearing our case for this referendum. With that being said, once we've hit that, mark to change the county's government structure, the referendum will be on Tuesday, April 14th. And then we're going to look to advertise this. We've been meeting actually with the community We've been to several churches, we've been to several orgs. We had 2 days in the county where we had like 6 to 8 locations where folks could learn about the petition, sign, and so forth. Some folks were at just a parking lot, others were at like the Atkins store, great chicken, by the way, and so forth. Overall, though, it's been very positively received, and folks are really eager for this change. So, this change comes with a lot of logistical admin work as well. If it gets pushed through in the referendum, just, keep track of that, as that will basically change your bylaws and so forth. Anywho, I'm almost up on time, but Merry Christmas. I think this is my 12th out of 12 board of supervisors where I've been speaking. It's been a pleasure. Other than that, thank you. Have a nice rest of your holidays.
I think it's Ms. Whitehead, you're next, and then Ms. Harris.
Good evening. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Rogers for the open house. And I'll be honest with you, some things I understood and some things I didn't. But as the saying goes, you'll understand it better by and by. Kind of disappointed in the delay in the meeting starting. A lot of people didn't know about the time change. And then when you get here, have to wait a little over an hour. That some people left. But things must go on. I have a couple of questions. Who is the county administrator's boss? I'm not clear on that. And who is the county administrator boss over? I'm not clear on that. The other question is, has Mr. Patterson have the same access to the county administration building as Mr. Hill and Mr. Atkins and Mr. Rogers? I'm not clear on that. If he does, that's great. If he doesn't, what is the problem? I can't see you, Mr. Hill, or you, Mr. Atkins, or you, Mr. Rogers, being denied access to where you need to get in at work at any given time. How does that have a good work rapport for you 4 gentlemen up there? You 3, if it's not reinstated, can get it anytime you wanted to discuss whatever you want, and he's left out. So I just want to know the answer. Can he get in like you, Mr. Hill, Mr. Atkins, Mr. Rogers? What did that young man do so wrong in trying to help us? In the meeting, you addressed a lot of financial situations, which that was good. And I had these questions on my mind, but I let the people that are more knowledgeable in the financial position to ask their questions. But not one time did you address this situation that is important to us too. What did Mr. Patterson do so wrong that you had to call for assistance, and then his key be denied? It's not right. How can y'all work together? How can the 3 of y'all work together when Mr. Patterson is the outcast? Basically, were you instructed to do that, Mr. Rogers? If so, you got to follow your boss's order. Which boss told him to do it? It's like I said before, Don't take the burden of what somebody else do to make you be the gopher. You know, you got to stand up for more than that. If you feel that it's wrong, then y'all, all three need to have a meeting. Don't do nobody like that. Don't do, neither one of you all should be treated like that. Okay? Next thing is the taxes. It's an ongoing problem with taxes. People, the taxes were wrong. I'm speaking for a group, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And taxes were wrong, and people still haven't gotten their correct bill. So what is the problem with that? In the last meeting, a young lady, Miranda, she spoke of that she was getting a tax bill for someone that's deceased. My brother passed on May the 4th. May the 22nd, he got a letter from Candace Jones, the Commissioner of Revenue. And I brought the letter because sometimes when people say things, you need to stand up and agree if it's to happen to you. Because they're quick, so, oh, that didn't happen. Well, I have the letter. And it's May the 16th. He passed on May the 4th. And it says, Dear Mr. Wallace, we received documentation that you're deceased. And mind you, they have clearly stated that he is deceased, but they go on to talk to him. But what they do with tangible good and all for 12 months, and our billing cycle starts January the 1st, whatever. Get with DMV, and after doing so, Mr. Wallace, contact us and let us know that the issue has been resolved. It is your responsibility until the corrections are completed. If you have any questions concerning this matter, please contact us at 804-652-2161. Sincerely, Candace Jones, Commissioner of Revenue. Okay, everybody make a mistake, but can we continue to keep on making these mistakes? Mind you, what floored me was the fact that nobody proofreads nothing, or it just runs off a computer, when the letter clearly acknowledged that he is deceased, and you're still talking to him in the letter. I guess all that's acceptable too. Just thought I'd let you know. Thank you.
Good evening, Martha Harris, representing a group. I'm laughing, but it's truly not funny. My question, Mr. Rogers, you spoke the other night about 3 assets that the county has. My question is, what is an asset? Is it a property that is owned free and clear? You mentioned Market 5, the fire station, which has a loan, and the food pantry. Would it be safe to say, wouldn't you need to know what the asset's worth is before declaring it as a true asset? And as far as the meeting tonight, it is very inconsiderate to go into closed session at the beginning of the meeting. There were a number of persons who left because after having waited for an hour or so, I can't recall when there was an executive session held at the beginning of a meeting. And as I stated before, I've been coming to these meetings for decades. Whether or not it's legal or not, it doesn't really matter to me. Whether or not it's considerate and sensitive does matter. Consent agenda, again, board appointments are on the consent agenda. Again, I've been coming to these meetings for decades, and the appointments were always voted on. Despite Mr. Patterson's objections about having the appointments on the consent agenda, you all continue to do it the same way. Also, for each of you, I would like for you to think about at least 3 accomplishments that you all have made this year. Think of at least 3 accomplishments that you have made, and let us as citizens know. Because what we're being left with is 2 loans made in a 3-month period. And to me, that is not an accomplishment. That is just the opposite. So when you all at home over the holidays, just think about how you have served us in this past year, and think about your accomplishments. And sometime next month, month after next, in your board comments, speak about that. We never hear, with the exception of Mr. Patterson, and a thank you here and a thank you for staff, we never hear any real board comments. And for 3 years prior to this board here, the comments that we always had heard from one member up there was thanking staff. Now, if you think back over our financial crises and everything else that has happened in the last 3 or 4 years, you, Mr. Atkins, because you were the one who was thanking staff, do you ever regret any of those comments? I want to thank staff. I want to thank staff. Thank staff for what? Thank you.
I'm speaking for a group. I'm disappointed that this meeting was moved to this afternoon and at such short notice. I saw nothing on the agenda which would require you to change the timing from this evening to this afternoon, and many citizens work and are unable to attend a meeting during the day. And then you come in here and make it a closed session and make us all wait for over an hour. I think that's disrespectful. It also makes it appear that this shift was to avoid participation by the public, and that's an appearances matter. In view of all the issues the county is facing, particularly around public dissatisfaction, financial stability, capital projects, and data centers, I'm quite frankly shocked and disappointed to see nothing on the regular agenda. Not a thing, nothing on your regular agenda. I'm also surprised to see the consent agenda packed full of meaty subjects, which will not be discussed, but just approved as a routine. Again, it appears that loading the consent agenda with items is a way to prevent open dialogue with the public. Mr. Rogers, this is not consistent with the message of transparency you tried to send us during your meeting just 2 days ago. Now, concerning the $1,000 grant to Parks and Recreation. 1, there should be a project plan showing the work to be completed and the estimated resources needed to deliver the service required according to the grant. At the close of the grant, there should be a report outlining actuals versus project plan for accountability. 2, the grant states that the award will not exceed eligible documented costs incurred, not to exceed the total grant amount. I don't understand increasing Parks and Recreation budget by $1,000 when it is not clear what the actual costs are or will be, and whether they will be covered by the grant. 3, this is actually the corner you painted yourself into with Market 5, where you were trapped into continuing to put good money after bad rather than repaying the grant money you already had spent. So you kept having to spend. You got painted in a corner, okay? So the things I'm outlining here should help you to not get painted like in the corner again. In view of our financial condition, I urge the Board of Supervisors to place this item on the regular agenda for discussion before approving. To simply increase Parks and Recreation authorized spending by the full grant amount is very ill-advised. And concerning the award for the Mount Zion Rustic Sewer Replacement Project. 1, the approval for spending $2 million of our taxpayers' money should not be hidden in the consent agenda. 2, this project this is one, no. Is this one of the 4 projects listed in the Davenport presentation? And is there a grant that covers the cost of this project? And how much is that grant for? 3, according to the Bowman letter, Bowman was to conduct a reference check in late November. What were the findings from that check? 4, Underground Connections bid was substantially lower than the other bids. In fact, 20% lower than the second lowest bid. What drove the lower costs? Do you know? 5, is there a project plan for this project, including milestones and a spending profile? 6, the Board of Supervisors should require a robust project plan and monthly updates against the plan. Close management is required, particularly considering our past failures to control capital spending on our projects. 7, I urge the Board of Supervisors to place this item on the regular agenda for discussion before approving this award. You should have the answers to these questions and more before you commit so much of our money. And finally, concerning Mr. Rogers' financial update we're going to see tonight. For months, various citizens, including myself, have been requesting more robust updates to include monthly forecasted revenues and expenses. The update you continue to provide is wholly inadequate. There is no way to determine how we're doing without a forecast or a projection to which to compare our performance. Each month, Mr. Rogers says this is the best he can do. You can and should do much better. Again, I extend my offer to help build the required forecast.
Tracy Floyd, speaking on behalf of the group. First, I would like to say, Ms. Whitehead, I am so sorry that that happened to you. I didn't have anything to do with it, but as a former government worker, I would never have allowed something like that to take place on my watch. And it's truly horrifying. I can't even imagine. I've lost family members recently as well, and I don't even know what to say. Tonight I wanted to speak about Freedom of Information Act, FOIAs. As enacted on both the federal and Virginia state levels, outlining statutory procedures for the designation of FOIA officers within local government and legal consequences for noncompliance. And I really think that's something that y'all need to be paying attention to, given the late FOIAs that a lot of us have been getting. Federal FOIA provisions are found under 5 U.S.C. Section 552, while Virginia statute is 2.2-3700. The federal FOIA was established in 1966. I did not realize it was going on that long. Grants the public a right to access records from federal agencies with 9 statutory exemptions permitted, including those for national security and personal privacy. Virginia's FOIA was instituted in 1968 and provides parallel rights to the state and local levels, ensuring access to public records and meetings. The intent, as declared by the General Assembly, is that all proceedings of public bodies are to be conducted openly unless a specific exemption applies. FOIA requests have to be submitted in writing. I think we all know this, but it can be done by email, letter, or sometimes online portals. Federal agencies are required to respond within 20 days, business days, while state and local here in Virginia have 5 working days to respond. Requests must be granted unless an exemption is explicitly cited, and cost recovery for search and reproduction must be reasonable and communicated in advance. We've had several instances in our group where we've received exorbitant cost projections in thousands of dollars, which is not in adherence with the Code of Virginia. And we've received multiple late FOIAs. Now, Virginia law mandates that every public body designate a FOIA officer whose identity and contact information must be publicly posted. I get responses that say, sincerely, the FOIA officer. It could be Mrs. Venable for all I know, and it probably is, knowing her. The designated FOIA officer is responsible for receiving and coordinating responses to requests, as well as maintaining compliance with statutory requirements. Officers must complete annual training as prescribed by the Virginia Freedom of Information Advisory Council. Failure by government body to specifically identify and publicize its FOIA officer is a violation of the Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3704.2. And courts may order compliance, and willful violations can result in civil penalties ranging from $500 to $2,000 for an initial offense and up to $5,000 for each subsequent offense. Now, in our little group, we've got several that would qualify for that. So those numbers add up quickly. Now, we're taxpayers, so we don't really want to cost y'all money, but it'd kind of be nice if you guys could just maybe get it right, you know, get something right. That's about all I have to say about FOIAs, but I would like to say to Mr. Rogers, I did appreciate your meeting. I was in attendance. But when Lloyd asked you if there were going to be any changes to the format of the meetings, I think he was implying that we didn't really appreciate having one single public comment period, and we didn't really appreciate your joke about you were making changes by moving it to 3:30 in the afternoon. We thought it was a joke, and turns out it wasn't actually a joke. Maybe the joke was on us. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just think Mr. Carter spoke for a lot of us when he said we weren't really happy with the way meetings were running. And I think having the public comment period early and then having business that we might want to comment on and not allowing us to comment on that, those are the kind of changes we were hoping for, not changing the meeting to 3:30 in the afternoon. And it seemed a little bit dismissive of you, sir, honestly, the way you answered his question. I just wanted to say that in closing. And thank y'all. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. The next item, Mr. Chairman, is our consent agenda. On the consent agenda, you have board appointments. We have the resolution to reappoint Mr. Richard Schoen to the Landfill Advisory Commission, resolution to appoint Mr. Chris Luck to the Social Services Board, resolution to appoint Ms. Tina Mason to the Board of Real Estate Assessors, resolution to appoint Mr. Leroy Atkins to the Social Services Board. You have the approval of $1,000 grant through the Capital Trail Foundation, resolution for property tax billing penalty waiver, and the approval for bid award for the sewer replacement project. Mr. Chairman, we do need a motion for the consent agenda approval.
Gentlemen, you've had a review of the consent agenda. I need a motion for approval of the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to move items A, B, C, and D off the consent agenda onto the regular agenda for discussion.
What's that again?
Well, actually, that's not a motion. That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
What's your request, Mr. Hill? Mr. Patterson?
To move items A, B, C, and D off the consent agenda onto the regular agenda. And have them open for discussion.
If that's what your wish is, that's what we'll do.
So item A, we need a motion on Mr. Patterson's request. Okay. We need a motion or discussion
Yeah, the whole consent.
for item A.
We have,
Everything is off the consent.
Right, so everything's open for discussion. Correct.
yeah.
So item A for board appointments, the resolution to appoint Mr. Richard Schoen, resolution to appoint Mr. Chris Luck, Resolution to appoint Ms. Tina Mason, and resolution to appoint Mr. Leroy Atkins is open for discussion.
Yes, and thank you, Madam Clerk. And after speaking with Mr. Luck for his nomination for the Social Service Board, he is still willing to serve the county in that capacity. And my appointment for Mr. Richard Stone, he's not in the building tonight, but he too is also willing to be reappointed to continue serving the Landfill Advisory Commission. I cannot speak for Ms. Tina Mason or Leroy Atkins. Is that Mr. Leroy Atkins from 3rd District, Mr. Flip?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Could we have a motion on the appointments for the resolutions, please?
Since there's no other discussion, Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the resolutions for reappointment of Mr. Richard Scone to the Landfill Advisory Commission, resolution to appoint Mr. Chris Luck to the Social Service Board, resolution to appoint Ms. Tina Mason to the Board of Real Estate Assessors, and a resolution to appoint Mr. Leroy Atkins to the Social Service Board.
I'm sorry. That's your motion, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
And your vote, Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. Thank you. Item
Now we
B.
have the approval of the $1,000 grant through the Capitol Trail Foundation. That item is now open for discussion.
Mr. Chair, this item is going to raise the Parks and Rec's budget? Is that what we're doing? We're
It's a grant.
increasing their budget? Mr. Rogers, can you assist us?
Yes. Item B is to accept and appropriate a grant from the Capitol Trail Foundation. The grant is for $1,000. That $1,000 will be utilized by the Parks and Recreation Department to partner with Simply Cycle, and they will provide free classes for residents.
These classes, will they be held at Market 5?
Yes, at Simply Cycle.
Okay. And the grant is for Parks and Rec or for Simply Cycle?
Parks and Recreation in partnership with the Capitol Trail and Simply Cycle. So Capitol Trail is providing the $1,000, and the purpose is to partner with Simply Cycle to provide free classes for county residents.
Okay. And I didn't have the luxury to go over this thoroughly for the consent agenda, well, for it to be added to the consent agenda. I never gave my consent on this. So, gentlemen, do you see an issue with the?
This is a grant, correct?
Yeah, Mr. Hill asked, is this a grant, correct?
This is grant, correct?
Do we have to match this grant?
There's no match, but the entire grant agreement is in the board packet.
Yes, page 38, I'm trying to get there right now.
Yes. I think it's page 40 is where the grant agreement begins.
Resolution is 38.
Just one-time grant, or is it like a continuation, or?
It's a one-time grant, and at the top of the page, on page 40, you'll see the grant period is from November 2025 to November 2026. So that's the duration.
Okay. And the grant's to purchase cycles, or just that time, just that training time?
Right under the grant period is the project description, and so it's for the classes at Simply Cycle to offset the costs that would normally be for a person to take the class.
And the money will be going to Simply Cycle?
That's correct. Parks and Recreation got the grant from Virginia Capitol Trail to partner with Simply Cycle to offer classes to county residents.
Seems like a nice thing. So county residents can go through Parks and Rec, and they can sign up for Simply Cycle, and essentially they're getting this for free, or is it some type of voucher that the citizens will be getting?
That's correct. That's correct. They can contact Parks and Recreation.
So what's your pleasure on this, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's a grant that we don't have to match.
Yes, sir.
You can go. I'm back.
Mr. Chair, motion that we accept the $1,000 grant from the Virginia Capital Trail Foundation for Community Cycling Initiative, Simply Cycle.
That's your motion, Ms. Hill?
Yes, it is.
Your vote, Ms. Hill?
Aye.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
I vote as aye also.
The next item, gentlemen, is the resolution for property tax billing penalty waiver that is now open for discussion.
And this is page 43.
43 and 44.
So to my understanding, Mr. Chair, to my understanding, this is a resolution of the Board of Supervisors. Board of Supervisors of Charles City County, Virginia. The treasurer, the county treasurer. Is that like and the county treasurer, or? We can authorize,
Yes, if you look at the background agenda item on page 44, it explains,
Yeah, and I can talk about this site for briefly.
okay,
So, as you know, the offices were closed Friday the 5th through Wednesday.
right, and that's for the weather, or?
Because of the weather and all that stuff. And so under 58.1-3916, that's by the action that counties are allowed to set their policies for rates and penalties and stuff like that. And so there's provisions under that that basically you can agree to a waiver like what was provided for. It needs to be ratified by the board by a resolution to ratify that waiver for the 4-day period where it was technically due on the 5th. But we decided to, staff decided that it would be more equitable to waive those fees when
Now,
folks would make those payments.
yeah, understand, thank you. And this is the board's authority that can make this happen?
Under this section, the board can waive, has limited authority to waive penalties and stuff.
Now, is it that we can only waive penalties for inclement weather?
No.
Are there any type of reasons as to,
I can try and
or,
describe what it talks about.
okay, and while you pull that up, Mr. Bosch, the reason I bring this up is because I did call the county administrator in regards to this manner of, with waiving the, I guess, or pushing back, as I worded it, pushing back the due date. Now, you did tell me that we couldn't push the due date back, but we are able to waive any penalties?
And I'll read it to you right here. So the governing body may further provide by resolution for reasonable extensions of time not to exceed 90 days for the payment of real estate and personal property taxes, and these other categories as well, whenever good cause exists.
Okay.
So that's kind of what it leaves it to.
Now, would,
More clear than that.
right, now, we're doing this because of the weather.
Yes, sir.
Right. We can, or we could do this because of the discrepancies of the actual tax bills that have, the amount of discrepancies of the tax bills that have been sent out through the citizens?
I mean, I guess we'd have to figure out what is served by delaying those bills and if that constitutes good cause.
Right. I think by the citizens, not all, but by those citizens who were affected by an inaccurate bill, paying that inaccurate bill either ahead or before they even caught the inaccuracy, or simply just trying to gather their paperwork to justify their their thought of the bill being inaccurate, would that alone constitute enough reason to have a penalty waiver?
I mean, we can look into that if you want us to. But the only context I've seen it in is kind of what we're talking about here, where it's something, a hurricane or weather or something that makes it, it's wherever good cause. So it's kind of a catch-all it gives a little bit of flexibility. I can't say, I've never seen a situation where it's been applied in the context you're talking about.
With the amount of discrepancies of the actual bill, to just waive the penalties and give folks a chance to view the bills and to ensure that it is in fact correct?
We can take a look at that. I'm just saying, we've never seen it applied in that context. But we can try to give you analysis on that.
Yeah, if that's something that can be done, I would like for that to be done. I've raised this point with Mr. Rogers a while ago, and I would like for, if it can happen, I would like for this to continue, or for us to be able to waive the penalties in lieu of the amount of discrepancies that the citizens are seeing in their bills. Is that a far-fetched ask, or is that a ask that's unbearable?
I mean, I can say from a logistical situation, it's different than what we're talking about here, because here it applies to everybody, and it's just based on the weather thing, and it's of a limited scope.
Okay.
What you're talking about is, logistically, I don't know what that represents in terms of.
Maybe just those who are impacted by those who, I guess, do have the incorrect bill.
And I don't know what that number is relative to the whole and stuff like that, so we'd have to figure all that out.
Gotcha. So, gentlemen, how can we move forward with those who were impacted by this, by way of being sent an incorrect bill?
Well, I guess that's what we'll have to come back with. As I said, this is based on this, and we can come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give some analysis.
Yeah. But I do appreciate your clarity on that, Mr. Bosch, and seeing that we can actually waive the penalties on based on inclement weather or, I guess, discrepancies, right?
Well, again, I don't necessarily want to say discrepancies, but
yeah, I want.
What are we talking about? It's good cause.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can move forward with this based on because of the weather, we can move forward with this, but we can also circle back and protect those who are impacted by the incorrect bills.
Mr. Patterson, I think Mr. Bosch said that he can look into it. We need to figure out what the scale or quantity, or figure out what the situation is with the bills. What I could tell you from a customer service perspective is, when an incorrect bill happens, there's correction that can be made on a case-by-case basis as well, so we would need to look into those instances as well. But I think Mr. Bosch is saying the best we can say is we can look into it and figure out. I think we hear your desire, and we can find out and bring something back to the board.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And again, just to reiterate my desire, those who were affected by those inaccurate bills, I do not see it being fair for them to have to pay any penalties, because of that. So if it is a case-by-case basis, then that's still something that we can achieve. Look into. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. What's your pleasure on the resolution on the property tax bill and waiver, gentlemen?
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the resolution to waive the penalty and the interest for impacted taxpayers who made payments in person through physical Dropbox, online, or through postmark mail by December 10th, 2025.
So your motion is to approve the resolution, Mr. Patterson? That's your motion? Your vote, Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Aye.
I too.
Thank you. Mr. Hill?
Aye.
My vote is aye also. Thank you very much.
The next item for approval is the bid award for the sewer replacement project. That item, I'm sorry, is now open for discussion.
Page 46. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Billingsley Point, who stated earlier in public comment, this is essentially of us approving $2 million of taxpayer money,
1.9, I think.
1.9. And can I have an overview or summary on this proposal? Or this resolution?
Yes. So this bid that's before the board this evening is a bid to accept replacement for the Mount Zion Rustic Sewer Replacement Project. This is a project that's been contemplated over many years. The $1.9 million bid award that we're asking the council to approve was facilitated through Consulting Bowman, who does engineering and consulting for public works related to our utilities. The funding for this project comes from a ARPA grant that was reimbursable, that was awarded to the county for the amount of about $5.5 million. This was done back in 2023, I believe, but that's where the funding for this project is coming from.
I thought we used all of our ARPA funds.
This project is already, this is a reimbursable grant, so this was not we received the cash. This is a project that's eligible for reimbursement through that grant.
So we don't have the cash on hand per se right now.
Well, I would not say it that way. I would not say it that way. However, this is a reimbursable grant. So the invoices come in, we submit them. We probably need to pay many of them, but we are reimbursed through the grant funding.
Okay, and to help me out, and for those that are either watching online or will watch online, or for those that are in attendance tonight, can you just help us or help me, can you explain reimbursable grant? What does that mean for the county?
A reimbursable grant means you incur the expense, pay it, and the grantee pays you for the expense.
So we have to pay it first out of our pocket, and then we get,
In most instances, that's correct.
is that gonna happen in this instance?
Yes.
So, right, so it's not cost. And this money is coming from where?
It is
The reimbursement, where's that coming from? Oh, go ahead.
You said where's the reimbursement fund? I'm sorry, could you ask the question again? I want to make sure I understand. There's the ARPA grant that's reimbursable. If the board approves of this item, we will execute this contract. As costs come in, they will be covered, and we will submit those for reimbursement to the grantor.
And the grantor being who? Just keep it on.
It's from the American Recovery Plan Act funding.
Okay. And these funds have nothing to do with what we are attempting to achieve or go after, that $2 million for the utilities?
That's correct. This is not one of those 4 projects.
Okay.
This is a separate project.
And this is
still very needed, but it's a separate project from those 4.
And this is only for Mount Zion?
That's correct. And what the board is approving right now is the construction for this specific replacement.
Yes. And when will that begin?
Well, we need the board's pleasure first, and then we can move forward with a notice to proceed.
Right, so when would that, if it gets approved tonight, which it probably will, when would that begin?
Well,
It was on the consent agenda, so it was already.
Well, this should be good news. However, I don't want to overstep. It is you all's pleasure. However, we will issue a notice to award immediately following approval, and then we can get a timeline, and we can provide that in the next update. But we need to provide that notice to award first to be able to get a accurate timeline. But we are ready. We are ready to proceed.
The only thing I'll add to that is I believe this is the same project I've been talking to Bowman about, and there's talking about 57. This is replacing this existing system with a low pressure system, and so that is a bunch of these households. There's going to be easements and other use agreements related to all those users, and so they will probably be coming back next month to approve basically all the property stuff that has to kind of come along with this.
Gotcha. And are we disturbing anyone's driveways or anything like that, or?
I don't have all the drawings, but there may be some of that, but that's what the easements are for, is we come in and if something has to get moved, they move it and then they put everything back when it's all done.
Gotcha. Now, Mount Zion, was that a part of the treatment facilities that were associated with the $2 million loan?
No, this is an entirely different project from the 4 projects that were identified.
Mount Zion wasn't a part of the 4?
Correct.
Correct, thank you. Okay.
Any other questions or concerns, gentlemen? If not, could we have a motion for approval of the sewer replacement project, a resolution?
Mr. Chair, I motion that we approve the bid award for sewer replacement project for Mount Zion.
That's your motion, Ms. Teal?
Yes, it is.
Your vote, Ms. Teal?
Aye.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
I vote as aye also. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, there are no agenda items for the regular agenda. Oh, we just did it. I'm sorry, sir. So now that brings us to our reports. Our county administrator report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I wanted to provide a few updates on a few items for this evening. One, I wanted to follow up on some major development projects that I know that the community has some awareness on. First, regarding Point 1's development, I had the opportunity to meet with the representatives from Point 1. The county has identified a dedicated project manager from Timmons Group that will be assigned to work on this project on behalf of the county. As a little insight related to what the expectations can be for the public, a project of this size and scale will likely need a development agreement as one component of approval, not necessarily on the land use side, but on the ultimate approval side. And so our dedicated project manager from Timmons will help to facilitate that development agreement. Additionally, AES, we know that the community has awareness of the solar project that is going in. I wanted to express thank you to the staff as well as the representatives from AES when I met with them. We have a contract in place. The board has already approved. But we will ensure from feedback that we've heard from residents that we have regular and routine monitoring, compliance, and inspection for this project going forward. This project, as many will recall, had 3 milestones in terms of payment that is to be received by the county. The only outstanding milestone was milestone 3, which was a payment of $1.9 million that would be due to the county once business operations were to commence. That was slated to be sometime this spring and summer. However, in conversation with AES in relation to, I would say, monitoring and compliance concerns, they have agreed to expedite that 3rd milestone payment and make that $1.9 million payment to the county this month. Next, just since we are in the holiday season, I wanted to provide a general operational update. The county offices are closed on December 25th and 6th for the Christmas holiday and January 1st for New Year's Day. All other days, Monday through Friday, will be regular business operations. Additionally, we have a few recruitments that we wanted to highlight. We are recruiting for a director of community development, and we also recruiting for utility operators to support our utility systems. Also, as I committed to do every month, provide a update on our financial operations. We are currently, staff is working diligently on 2 audits. One, our fiscal 25 annual comprehensive financial report, and as well as the court mandated forensic audit. We are working as diligently as possible to provide each individual audit firm with all of the data that they have requested, as well as any follow-ups that they may need, and we are expecting and hopeful that we will have completion of both those items in the near term. Additionally, we have decided to voluntarily move forward with the Auditor of Public Accounts local monitoring. So we've provided responses to their voluntary questionnaire, and we will be meeting with personnel from the Auditor of Public Accounts likely in January. Also included in your packet is the budget versus actuals for the month of November. This report shows how we are tracking on revenues and expenditures against the approved budget for fiscal 26. I just want to point out one thing in relation to the format of this report. I want everyone to keep in mind that the format of the current report is in the same format as the approved budget, and that is so that we can make sure that as we are providing information on a month-to-month basis, that we're always comparing things apples to apples. So that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
That brings us now to the Board of Supervisors' comments.
Gentlemen.
I'd just like to take this time to thank Mr. Rogers for that update on our financial situation, and thank the citizens for your input. I mean, we do hear you. We hear your concerns. And just like to wish you a happy holiday and a prosperous new year. Thank you.
Dr. Patterson.
No, he's being facetious.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Chair, Mr. Rogers, we're receiving monthly updates on our finances, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And that's something that is in place because the board requested monthly updates, well, because we're in this financial situation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will also like to request, and I'm like the board support as well, moving forward, monthly updates for our development, not just throughout the county, particularly our Point One project. If we can have monthly updates on Point One, you know, and no better time to start than 2026, next year. I'm going strong from 2026 January all the way without skipping a month to December. And ideally, all the way until the project is finished or completed. If we can have monthly updates on that development, that would be, I think that would be extremely helpful, not only to the public, but for Point One and for our county, so we can all have the opportunity to align and be centered. But to make sure that we're on the same page, everyone knows what they're supposed to know, when they're supposed to know it. Which brings me to the personal property tax for data centers. I would have liked for us to have this board meeting to discuss the tax rate for computers and peripherals for data centers, but at some point in time, we're going to need to have that discussion, whether it be in, Mr. Bosch, I don't know if it has to be in closed session or not. Mr. Bosch, can you help me out on that just briefly? Real quick?
I mean, I can talk a little bit about my experience generally as to how that stuff gets reviewed. what the county really needs is, at least on an initial basis with point one or somebody similar to point one, is some kind of information from them to let the county build a model as to what those revenues can look like. Because we can't kind of come up with anything about what the tax revenue is going to look like until we say, like, all right, we project it's going to be so many of these servers or whatever. I don't know the technical stuff. But in terms of, at least in our discussion with them, with their counsel, they acknowledge that that's part of the stuff that we need is some kind of a, estimation or projection from them as to what it's going to look like. And then we can work with, the professionals that we've identified on behalf of the county to kind of take a look at that and be like, what is that, run a bunch of analysis about, like, well, what, if we do different tax rates, what does that mean for county finances and things like that?
Correct.
So some of that stuff can certainly be in public, but some of that is also the classic sort of, we're negotiating with a business sort of thing that we want to have those sorts of conversations traditionally in closed session.
Absolutely. I would like to keep it as transparent as possible, and if some of that needs to happen in the back, so be it.
And some of that, because I'll say, some of that is, we're setting a rate for point one, but also we're setting a rate for data centers generally. And so that's going to be part of the analysis as well, and part of what you guys decide you want to do is, do we want to just set a rate and leave it for everybody? Do we set a rate and negotiate agreements with folks and all those sorts of things? And so that, there's really we definitely don't want to have those conversations in front of the developer can just watch the video and know what our strategy is going to be. That seems like a bad idea.
Okay. Now, I am aware that I believe it's probably 21 or 22 or even maybe 23, I'm talking about the year, that the developer did send over the study that they did, that they have ran for tax rates. I think it was anywhere from like 35 to 40 cents that, generated a couple figures for us. That report was sent to the then whoever was county administrator at the time, and then that was sent to our financial advisors, Davenport. They took a look at it. So maybe, and I know that's some time ago now, we're, coming up on 2026, right, a couple days away. So sometimes numbers may change, but not that much, but maybe we can.
I'll just say in this context, they have changed a lot.
Okay, perfect, yeah. And then that's probably more so in our favor, but I don't.
Well, and hopefully there's
right,
lots of different things that have changed. But.
Right. But if need be, I may have that floating in the back of an email somewhere if you guys need that. If not, I would like for us to actively pursue this tax rate and not have it fall on the back burner. Point one is here by right. So they are going to be building, and this is the largest development that this county has ever seen, development-wise and probably financial-wise. I don't know. I guess maybe when Shirley Plantation was sending some money to the king, taxes to the king back in those days. But outside of that, this is the largest development opportunity that this county is facing, that it has ever faced. And I believe that the appropriate attention needs to be given to these matters, especially in coming up with competitive rates for the computer and tax peripherals. And also the development agreement, I saw on the county's administrator's report something about a development agreement, and that's going to be between the, that's going to be between ideally point one and the county?
It depends. Typically, these things are negotiated privately and not publicly, so it's hard to say what the components will be.
I'm not negotiating anything. I'm just trying to lay everything out so I can have a full understanding. So
Right. Me too. That's why I put it in the slide, just to paint the expectation that all of the considerations related to tax rates for peripherals, personal property, all those considerations, what I was trying to capture in that is that most of those things would likely end up in a development agreement that would require approval of, at a minimum, the Board of Supervisors, but depending on what it is, what's included could require some additional approvals.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I'll note as kind of part of all that whole process is, this board can set a tax rate, but this board cannot legally obligate for future boards to keep that rate forever.
Absolutely.
And so that's part of what gets negotiated in these agreements is if it's going to change, then are there sort of catch-up incentives and things like that? And so that ends up being part of the discussion.
And because this board may or may not be the same exact board moving forward, yeah, I definitely understand that. However, this current board can still establish that tax rate.
Yes, sir.
Before our terms.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and hopefully we can do that a lot sooner, especially before they break ground, which this is going to happen. Yeah. Outside of that, it's 2026. This is my second year here, serving Charles City County as the District 1 representative. It's been a tough year, not gonna lie. Last year, 24, I had 3 good months, and then it was a tough year. 25 came around, and it was a tough year again. And I've been doing my part, I've been playing my part, I've been being patient, and there's only so much that I can take as far as the roadblocks that are being placed in front of me, not by my boss, but by happen's sake, I guess. Yeah. So if we can definitely find some common ground and work together on that, moving forward, 2026, bringing in a new year with a new attitude, a new way of seeing things, that would definitely be beneficial to all of us sitting here on this stage. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I have several things I want to say. I will continue to commend staff on the efforts that they make. They work extremely hard and to motivate them to do what they can do. A constant, every day, working with the many obstacles, not one, there are many obstacles that they are daily confronted with. Local government is a unique being in itself. It's not like federal government, which has a whole lot of bureaucracy nor like state government. Many things that apply in state government would apply to one locality applies to the other locality as relates to uniformity. But each local government has its own entity, its own infrastructure, and it's an ongoing, growing process. So yes, I want to give encouragement to our staff. I want to commend you, Mr. Rogers, and you're talking about a challenging year. We've had 4 county administrators. We've lost all our past history, all our past legacy. We've lost our total foundation. This is a brand new board that came on. They've had several things that they had to deal with, a part of reconstruction, trying to learn how to work through obstacles and barriers, how to work with each other. There is no history on this board. When you lose your history, you lose your foundation. The total foundation of this county has been eroded. The total foundation has been totally dismissed. We have no past history. You have no living past history of the operations of this county. And that is a major obstacle that you have to deal with. And that is something that takes time, patience, and understanding. And everyone has an opinion of how things should be done. And it takes a time to get that done. So I want to thank you for your continued commitment to come to meetings. And every meeting, I find out something new that someone says that's beneficial to putting in a better county government. So as we move on, I do want to thank our staff because it's extremely difficult in trying to get things done based on not having a history here. So I want to thank the staff for the past Christmas parade. That was excellent. Parks and Recreation assisted with that. I want to thank everyone that participated in the parade. I want to thank everyone that stood on the sidelines and cheered it through. In addition to that, there was another group of people that came from another locality that also wanted to be a part of the parade because they saw the value in community-based and saw it was something good that Charles City was doing. Yes, a lot of people have a lot of things in Charles City to say, and there's a lot of people outside of Charles City that commends us on our efforts of trying to strive and move ahead. So I want to thank staff, and I will continue to thank staff. And I also want to say some of the individuals are new to me, and I am learning you, which I have no problem with learning. But many of you I've known all my life. So I also am quite aware with your accomplishment and your greatness that you've done to the county. So some things are new, others are not. So I want to say that as we continue to move forward, I will continue to encourage staff. I will continue to give them praise in areas that they need to be praised on. And in the interim, what things we need to do, I won't bring it out in the public to reprimand or do anything to downgrade someone. I'll try to work with them also in types of things that we need to do better. I also want to say thanks to staff for opening up open house. I think that's the beginning of letting people see who's here, what they're doing, what they're trying to do. I want to thank, in particular, the success of it was you coming out. You had a chance to ask any question that you wanted about anything. And I continue to say, come out, voice your opinion, but I also say, as we go forth, realize that we are in a total rebuilding process. So to that, my concluding remarks is I sincerely want to express a very Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope that they have an enjoyable time with their families, their friends. I wish them safe travel as they journey, and I hope and wish everyone a very happy, prosperous New Year. Thank you.